frame, fast, and resilient. This is the Canon 1DX.
The Canon 1DX was the first in the 1D lineup to be truly good at everything about photography. Previously, the lineup had been divided into two segments, the regular 1D series and the 1DS series. The regular 1D series featured an APS-H size sensor, which has a 1.3x crop factor compared to full frame. This smaller sensor allowed for faster readout speeds, good high ISO performance, and good color science and quality control that professionals expected from a flagship DSLR. By comparison, the 1DS series was for the more intricate shooter. It had a full-frame sensor and higher megapixel count, but at the cost of burst speeds and memory card performance. The Canon 1DX was the fusion of these two philosophies into one insanely powerful camera. With the full-frame 18-megapixel sensor with the 14 frames per second burst speeds, this was the camera for those who needed the best out of their equipment. For example, the 1DX was built with the assumption that you needed extended battery life. While with a normal DSLR you need to attach a battery grip to the bottom, the 1DX already has a built-in grip and an insanely big battery to go along with it. And this is without mentioning that the build quality of the 1D series is exceptional. This is a magnesium alloy frame. It's incredibly durable and ideal for people like photojournalists who find themselves in quickly evolving situations and don't want to have to worry about their gear breaking while out in the field. While this model would have cost you almost $7,000 in 2012, you can find used models for far, far less than that. And what happens when an amateur photographer gets their hands on an old flagship camera? Regrettably, I don't own any L-series lenses, the kind of lenses a professional would have combined with this camera upon release. Instead, I'm stuck with my collection of dirt cheap used lenses to put on this professional DSLR, and the results are interesting to say the least. I have fallen in love with this 50mm Pentax lens. It's extremely fast with a maximum aperture of f1.4. And wide open, it has a soft, bloomy look that invokes nostalgia in a way that none of my other lenses do. And combined with this incredible sensor, this camera can practically see in the dark, allowing me to capture images that would have been impossible otherwise. While not a selling feature, this camera can record full HD video internally using the entire sensor. And the image exudes a late 2000s look that the Canon 5D Mark II pioneered. And combined with a log profile, I'd call this footage quite usable depending on the look you're going for. Of course, the high frame rate is fantastic for sports photography, and the 61-point autofocus system is still quite competent despite lacking modern dual-pixel technology. The only thing I wish was different is that the LCD was a touchscreen. Presently, you have to use the joystick to manually select your focus points, which is quite tedious and makes the camera unnecessarily unergonomic. But then again, it's been a long time since I've used a camera that's so tactile. In a world full of slim mirrorless cameras that have small control surfaces, limited buttons, and make you sift through many menus for important settings, having a camera that just has all of the buttons for everything right on it is somewhat relieving. And this is excellent for anyone who's reliant on muscle memory. As we can see, the Canon 1DX is still a remarkable camera, but then again, of course it is. It's not like digital cameras have ever degraded in quality over time. A good image will always be a good image. I can already hear people saying that the 5D Mark III or EOS R are going to be much better options for the average consumer because they're sharper and less cumbersome. But then again, that's not why people buy the 1D series. Of course, there's always something to be said about cameras that limit you, whether that be with a fixed lens, limited ISO performance, or slow speeds. But I think everyone needs at least one camera that doesn't limit them at all, and lets their creativity run wild without even being limited by the gear that they're using. Besides, as GXAce always said, a cool camera will make you a better photographer, and the one that's best for you is the one that inspires you to use it. And I can't say that any camera has inspired me as much as the 1DX does. This is Everlyn Media, out.